Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Catholics in combat. There has been a significant uptick in the number of seminarians applying to become priests serving in the military despite the restrictions on religious liberty after the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The California Catholic Daily says that the 2011-2012 school year will have 31 candidates, a significant increase from 3 in the year of 2008 to 2009, also a jump from last year's number of 23. According to a study done by the Center for Applied Research at the Apostolate at Georgetown University, 10% of men ordained as Catholic priests were previously in the military, while another 10% came from military families. The cadet Catholic chief for the Archdiocese for Military Services says, quote, "This is one of the untold stories of the blessings of the Holy Spirit upon the Church and those faithful fervently seeking to respond to the voice of God," end quote. You can read the full story on our resource page by clicking the link right over here. Earthquake damage. The huge earthquake that rocked the eastern seaboard has done significant damage to Catholic churches. Catholic churches in the Diocese of Richmond, closest to the epicenter in Mineral, Virginia, received minor damage, but Washington, D.C. and Maryland report significant damage done to churches in their area. The Catholic News Service says St. Patrick's Parish in Baltimore reports significant damage to its steeple, rendering it unsafe to visitors for several months. However, at least 2 churches in Washington reported damage to their roofs, including a chimney that fell onto several cars below. You can get a more detailed damage report in the full article on our resource page by clicking the link right outside the screen. Shriven to perfection. Our Holy Father, Pope Benedict XVI, is fervently urging priests to spend more time in the confessional with the release of a new guide for confessors. The new 70-page document, The Priest, Minister of Divine Mercy, an aid for confessors and spiritual directors, has been sent to all of the world's bishops' conferences for distribution and was authored by the Congregation for the Clergy. Pope Benedict says that priests should dwell more in the confessional so that, quote, "the faithful may find compassion, advice, and comfort, feel that they are loved and understood by God, and experience the presence of divine mercy beside the real presence in the Eucharist," end quote. The National Catholic Register says this new document is a fruit of the recent Year for Priests, during which he focused on helping priests reach their spiritual perfection. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Communist Catholic turf war. The communist government in China is cracking down on underground Catholic priests and laymen and detaining them as tensions rise over the recent round of illicit ordinations by the communist government. TheBlaze.com says the region of Tanshui is no exception, as the bishop's chair for the region has been vacant since its last occupant passed away in 2004. The bishop's nephew has stepped into the position with the blessing of the government, but is facing competition from 3 leaders of the underground Catholic Church who are conveniently among those recently detained from the Tanshui area. The 3 individuals are currently being put through what government officials are calling routine political study sessions for 4 hours every day. Legal status for Catholics. The Catholic Church is now a recognizable legal entity in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. The law passed in July, effective for ecclesiastical communities, quote, that have close historical ties with Georgia or that have become lawfully recognized as religions in member states of the Council of Europe, end quote. The legalization allows the Church to register as a public entity and sit at the table legally as equal with other religions, where previously the only religion recognized by the government was the Russian Orthodox Church. The law does have its critics and had to pass through Parliament twice before it was approved, but it will enrich talks between the Vatican and the Orthodox Catholic Church in the country. since both religions are now considered equal in the eyes of the state. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about the latest CIA episode. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless.